Deep down, like, I wasn't sure of his true intentions, even despite of him telling me everything. And it was just like I was pulling back and forth. And like I realized, like, when we were like hanging out, like I was like, why can't I like fully like feel something, or like fully like indulge? And I like, now I know why and everything, but it was just very, it was like confusing for me, and it was just like a lot of like pulling teeth. Just summertime fling, like, you know, like, you have to keep your feelings in check. You can't, it's not something that you can really indulge in, because it's gonna end. And I don't have time. I'm the type of person, I don't have time to be playing around with my feelings. I don't have time to be chasing after someone who doesn't want the same things as me. And it's just frustrating. It's not frustrating, it was just like, okay, like, you know, like, we don't really need to keep indulging in this. But anyways, I didn't catch feelings, but I started like obviously like caring about him and everything. And then when we went back to college, like, there were times where I would text him in class because he would be on my mind. And I remember like there was like a certain time where like I told him I was missing him, and he was like, nah, chill with that. And I was like, and that's when it was literally that moment. It was that moment where I was like, heard you, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I bet, like, you know what I mean? So then like after a while, like, I could just tell like things just wasn't gonna flow. Like, even if like we wanted to see each other during break, I was just not down for it anymore. I was like, I don't care, you know. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? So then we like kept like, we would text every once in a while, like he would FaceTime me, but then it got to a point where I didn't want to answer his FaceTime calls because I was just getting annoyed. And I was like, nah, like, what do you want? Like, we all know why you're calling me. It's only because I stopped hitting you up, and now you're down. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like that shit. Like, fully indulge in me. Don't do it after I stop doing it to you. We're in college now, if I didn't make that clear. This is the point where we're in college. School has started. Summer is over. I didn't fully stop talking to him until towards my birthday, where he basically felt like he was a priority in my life, and that was not the case. And like, it just made, like, there were just times where he would say things like, oh, like, if we hung out, like, we could be doing this and stuff like that. And it's just in my head, and I'm like, yo, like, this is not what I want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not down for this, and you know I'm not down for this, and you try to act like you're not after this, but you are. Only after one thing, and I don't fuck with that. Like, that's okay. If nothing is wrong with that. If two people are hooking up and you both explain that, okay, this is what I want, we can do this, we can do that, that's totally fine. But me personally, I didn't want that, okay? And that's completely fine as well. So yeah, here's a little story. One time, this was like further back, I was hanging out with my best guy friend who I'm really close with. And prior to this, like, the guy that I was talking to had hit me up, and he was like, oh, like, what are you doing during break? And I was like, oh, I'm working. So then he was like, oh, okay, like, da da da, like, is there a way that, like, basically, like, just asking me if there was a way that we could hang out. And I was telling him, like, no, like, this is my schedule. He like, when I was free, he wasn't free and everything. And to be honest, I didn't really want to chill, because, like I said, during the summertime, I started to feel this way. It was still carrying on towards this time that he was hitting me up. And I was like, no, like, I have to go to work. And he was like, oh, like, why you gotta be so motivated? And I was like, did you just ask my ass why I'm motivated to get money? Like, bitch, what? You know what I'm saying? So then after that, I also, prior to him asking me if I was free, I had already made plans with my best guy friend ahead of time, and I didn't have to explain that to him. It was just I wasn't free, and that was that. So then after, when he sees my best guy friend on my Snapchat, he's like, oh, like, you can hang out with him, but you can't hang out with me. And in my head, I was like, yeah. Like, you know, like, he asked me to hang out. This person has been in my life longer and has shown me why they're in my life compared to why you're in my life, even despite your, like, difference in what you're saying and stuff. So then it just got to a point where I was like, you're not a priority in my life. I care about you, but I'm not going to overstep over my friends for you, because you haven't, like, we're not there. And we've hung out a few times, but you have not shown me that you're in my life for a good reason. despite him being a great person. And there's no way, like, he's a great person and everything like that. He's just not, I don't know how to explain it. Like, this isn't me, like, bashing this person. It's just, it was just a really frustrating time for me. Let's see. Yeah, so it just got to a point where I was getting fed up. And then even when I told him, like even when I was like, yeah, like, I'm hanging out with him, da-da-da-da, he was like, oh, like, you could have had this, like, we could have been doing this. And it's just like, why does it always have to fall under that umbrella? Like, you know? And like, there's nothing wrong with that, and, like, of me not wanting to do something with this person, because everyone goes through life, and you're not going to want to do something with every single person you meet. And it just, like, got to a point where I was just like, this is all you want. And it's like, that's, like, you need to realize, like, okay, we did what we did during the summertime, but I'm over it. You know what I mean? And, like, we can't even, like, it felt like we couldn't even hang out without him wanting to do that particular thing. And I was just like, this is fucking annoying. So, yeah, so then after a while, I just stopped, like, I stopped responding to him. I stopped reading his messages. I stopped hitting him up. I stopped FaceTiming him. Everything I just cut off. Like, I was, like, being more respectful, and I felt like I'm more respectful to myself. And beforehand, like, before me, like, completely cutting him off, I felt like I had to explain to him why I was going to end up stop talking to him and everything. And my friends were like, you don't even know him an explanation. And, like, just me morally, like, I felt like, no, like, he deserves to know, because I don't want to just drop somebody and they don't know why and everything like that, or why I'm choosing to move away from this person. And they were like, no, like, you don't owe him an explanation at all. You were never dating. You guys weren't. And I was like, and I was telling them, I was like, we really weren't anything. Like, we were friends or acquaintances, but we weren't necessarily, like, moving towards anything for him to have to know where I was going with my life and my decision. So long story short, I didn't tell him why I was cutting him off. I was just going to do it and drop him. And it got to a point where I started leaving him on red when he hit me up. And then he hit me up for my birthday and sent me a very sweet message and everything. And I was like, wow, like, thank you. And that very same day, he told me that he caught feelings for me. And I was just like, honestly, I can't be the person to say if he told me the truth or not, because that's not my opinion to be saying. But regardless, people tell people, another person, that they caught feelings in order to keep talking to that person. And I've seen this happen. That was just how I took it. I caught feelings for you, now let me hit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, wait. Like, that's how even if, like, he actually did catch feelings, and he might have, I can't be the person that says that he didn't. I was just like, it's too late in the game for you to be saying you caught feelings for me and everything like that. And you know what, like, you know, it was just at a point where I was ready to move on, and I have already moved on, like, I had already moved on or whatever. And it was just, I don't know, like, it was just, I was just like, I don't, like, you can catch feelings for me, that's fine. I'm just not gonna continue with this. And until this day, we still haven't spoke. And that's completely fine. People enter your life, people leave your life, and that's completely fine, you know? And, like, it never really hurt me. Like, I never got hurt by his actions or, like, what he said and everything. And I didn't realize, like, some shit that he said that I didn't say everything in this video. It was just, now I realize how, like, just being in the situation, like, I should have noticed what he was after sooner. So basically, and that's also why I couldn't indulge, like I said before, because deep down, like, I knew his true intentions and why he was actually there, but it didn't reach, like, my mind yet.